Champions League as well, and Mikel Arteta's side are in Italy to take on last year's beaten finalists, Inter Milan, tomorrow night.
I think Arsenal is one of the best teams in Europe. For me, they're not the best team at the moment, but they're definitely up there. So it's going to be a big challenge tomorrow, but I'm confident that we're ready for it. In my opinion, the best team in Europe at the moment is Bayern. They play really good football. They score so many goals. I've seen the goal difference that they had to how much they scored, and also the ones that they couldn't concede.
This season they are first in Premier, first in Champions, and yeah, this is a proof that this club it's competitive, and it's one of the team together with Bayern, in my opinion as well, are the strongest in Europe.
Well, that is the Inter side of stuff. We are going to hear from Mikel Arteta a little bit later on this evening. But let's discuss their performance over the weekend then. Back-to-back goalless draws now for Arsenal in the Premier League. Did it feel like it was a missed opportunity for them against Nottingham Forest on the weekend? And I say that because now, especially with City losing, with Villa losing as well, 7 points clear, but it would sound better if it was a 9-point gap, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you were spot on when you asked Jamie that, and obviously Jamie's answer was no, because at the end of the day, Villa lost and Man City lost, but I knew exactly what you're saying. It could have been, it's 7 points, it could have been 9. I think if it's 9, it's title over in my eyes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's 9 points, I think it's title over. I don't think Arsenal dropped that much points, and Man City would have to win literally near enough every game from now, and Aston Villa now to the end of the season, and Arsenal dropped 3 games, so now I can't really see it. 7 points, they've still got to play each other. It's still in Arsenal's hands, and it's still a good point. It's a hard place to go to Nottingham Forest, especially when Sean Dyche sets his team up like that to be hard to beat.
They were dogged, weren't they?
They were dogged, but that's what Sean Dyche wanted, because Forest haven't been like that. It's been a struggle for them, and yeah, there'll be question marks of Arsenal. They brought in all Gyokeres and all these other players, and they're still not scoring enough goals and not creating enough chances. But you can have games like that where the team frustrate you. You've seen it before with Nottingham Forest. It's not a worry about them not scoring goals and 2 goalless draws, because they're still 7 points clear. I think if the gap was closing, then I'd start worrying a bit more. But now, I still think Arsenal are favourites to win the Premier League.
What do Arsenal need to do then? And more importantly, what does Mikel Arteta need to do with his side? Do they need to take more risks in games like that?
Yeah, I think they are taking risks. The side they picked, they changed the wingers around. They didn't play Trossard or Saka. It was Martinelli and Madueke, but they got competition for places, and he's going to have to rotate. He's brought in a lot of players. He brought Eze on. I think Eze's come on only in the last couple of games. He come on for 12 minutes, and then previously only 11 minutes. And that is, maybe you brought in a player like that to win your football matches like on the weekend, and you're probably only getting 12 minutes. Ødegaard's the man in possession of the shirt at the moment, and probably deserves it because he's been in good form. But then you're looking at the goal scoring. You brought in Viktor Gyökeres to score goals, and at the moment he's not scoring the goals. And now you're going to have Kai Havertz fit, Gabriel Jesus. I like them 2 players, but it just looks like they don't have that natural number 9 who could score goals, and they thought Viktor Gyökeres was the one, and at the moment he's not doing it. How
much of an issue is the fact that he's not finding the back of the net?
See, it's not an issue
either.
It's not an issue because at the moment, as I said, 7 points clear, and they're still winning football matches.
So that's despite that, then, isn't it?
Yeah, despite that. Imagine if he is scoring goals, they would have run away with the league at the moment. But it's difficult for him because I'm looking at him, and Viktor Gyökeres is a person, he wants to occupy defenders. So in certain games, when Arsenal have games and there's space in behind, Viktor Gyökeres is perfect to play but when teams are going to defend deep, then you need players who are going to have that creativity to cause teams problems, like a Gabriel Jesus, like a Havertz that can drop into pockets and make it hard for defenders. Viktor Gyökeres wants to field defenders, and he wants to have that contact. The thing with Arsenal's wingers is when Saka's on his game, he'll go round, and sometimes he check back to his left foot and wants to whip crosses in. And you saw it in the game against Chelsea in the cup game, where he did score, where Saka chopped back, and then it was a crossing from, and then he played it to Ben White. Gyökeres kind of threw his head back because he was disappointed, and Ben White crossed it, and he managed to get his goal where Sanchez makes a mistake. So maybe he wants early crosses into the box, which he's not getting at the moment. But I'm telling you now, if I was in an Arsenal team, stay in the 6-yard box. You will score goals. They will create chances. He's just not in good form at the moment, but he's got to keep believing in himself.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting to hear Micah Richards talk about it on the weekend, saying maybe he needs a couple of games out of the team.
Yeah, because sometimes you can
kind of get your confidence back and then come back in. But does it work like that?
it can work like that, but you're not going to get your confidence sitting on the bench. The only way you're going to get your confidence is on the pitch, delivering. So if you're going to come out of the team, because say you come out on the team for 2 or 3 games, someone comes in that position and scoring goals. You can't then evidently leave that player out who's been scoring goals. So the only way you can solve it is getting onto that pitch, getting in the right areas, staying in the team. But then when you're not scoring goals, you'll have other strikers knocking on Mikel Arteta's door, the Jay-Z's, the Havertz, saying, why am I not being given an opportunity? That is why you've got a good squad like Arsenal have at the moment. But I think the best bet for him would be to stay in the team, not come out of the team.
Yeah. Declan Rice seemed pretty frustrated at the end of that game, and the cameras caught it as well. I think we can say that. I mean, he's talking to himself, but, I mean, this was doing the rounds on social media.
It was. I've seen it.
What did you make of that? Is it just him being frustrated in the moment?
Yeah, that's what he is. He's frustrated. He's been outstanding for Arsenal. He's a winner. He wants to win things there, and he knows that was a huge game for them. After what had obviously happened with Man City earlier on in the day, he's thinking this is a big game for us to capitalise on, and it's disappointing. But one thing Declan Rice has to realise is it's not an easy place to go to, Nottingham Forest. It's not a given that every game you go to Arsenal you're going to win football matches, but that's a sign of a winner. He's frustrated. He wants to win football matches. He's disappointed. I think a lot of players can learn from Declan Rice. And yeah, maybe he didn't expect the camera to pick up on him what he was saying, but there's cameras everywhere, and social media is a big thing everywhere, and everyone loves to have a comment on social media.
You can't really...
you can't get away from it.
Or you can't be talking to yourself going
exactly,
like this.
Yeah, you can't do like that.
They do it when they're talking
That's what I'm trying to say. But no, he's frustrated, he's disappointed, but I like that. It shows he's a winner, and I like Declan Rice. I think he's a top player. He's been outstanding for Arsenal this season.
Arsenal have got, in terms of the league, Manchester United on Sunday. That is a Super Sunday clash, isn't it? And it feels like United... maybe a different prospect now after that performance against City.
This is the test, and this is going to be a huge game. Obviously, coming off the back of 2 goalless draws for Arsenal, then you're going to be looking at it and saying, oh, it's a big game for them, and Man United being in good form. But, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's a good game. It's a good challenge for Man United. We spoke so well how positive they were on the weekend. It's a big game for Arsenal to bounce back. So, yeah, that is a Super Sunday. It's one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. They talk about that handball. Sean Dyche also wondered whether Forest should have had a penalty as well. What do you think on this one before we get to the handball?
Yeah, no, I think it was close initially. I did think it was a penalty, but when you look closely at it, I think Hudson-Odoi drives into the box and Timber does have hold of him, he does grab him, but you see here, he just lets go just before he gets into the penalty box, so I don't think that's a penalty for me.
So he releases him before he gets into the penalty box, so just the yellow card. This, Alan?
No, I agree with Sean Dyche. I don't want to see this be given as a penalty. He does get a shove in the back there. The arm's close to the body, and it's in a justifiable position, and it hits the top of his sleeve first, and then onto the arm. So not handball for me, no.
Just talk to us about the psychology of playing your match after your title rivals have lost earlier in the day.
Yeah, it can be tough because I'm sure the Arsenal players, if they was watching the game, will have been sat there thinking, you know, we're going to be 9 points clear. And sometimes you forget you've got a game to play. And actually watching that game, you waste a lot of energy watching the game. So it can be tough. But I do think that was a massive point for Arsenal. I think with Man City losing, to go and get a point, I know they would have wanted 3, but to extend the lead to Man City to 7 points and get that point, I think that's a huge point for them.
Do you think that's a good point? I mean, they've actually extended a lead over City.
I think it's a good point for Arsenal and for Forest. I thought Forest deserved the point the way they worked, but for Arsenal, in terms of it's been another good weekend for them where they extend their lead by a point, so absolutely, yes.
Next weekend...
Arsenal face their biggest Champions League test yet as they host Inter Milan in the knockout stages, with the Gunners widely regarded as Premier League favourites heading into the clash. Mikel Arteta's side arrive in supreme form, sitting 7 points clear at the top of the EPL table after a dominant run of results, blending ruthless attacking play with defensive resilience. The Emirates will be rocking as Arsenal look to impose their high-pressing, fluid style against Simone Inzaghi's experienced Inter side. Viktor Gyökeres is finally firing, combining power and intelligence up top, while Bukayo Saka terrorizes fullbacks and Gabriel Martinelli adds pace. Declan Rice and Ødegaard will battle for midfield control against Inter's tactical discipline, with the backline led by Saliba and Gabriel ready to handle Lautaro Martínez and Thuram. This is a true European heavyweight bout. A strong performance would send a massive statement to the continent and boost Arsenal's title credentials. Inter are dangerous on the counter, but the Gunners' depth and momentum give them the edge. Please like and subscribe.